Hi guys, I have my broken ring light sitting over there, hoping it stays put, but I'm going to kind of quickly go over what I've got in front of me, and then I'm going to gradually put this together, and so we're just going to get in this. First of all, I have an orange Sharpie that'll come into play here in a little bit, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. And then I have, and I hope everybody picked up some of these. Doesn't matter what color. I picked up a purple, an orange, and I picked up several of these black ones, up like 3 of them. They're going to come into play putting this together because they're going to be trees. And then I did pick up some of these pussy willows. Our store only had 2 left when I got to them, so I'm going to sparingly use a couple sprigs off from this pussy willow branch. And today, I'm not going to use a whole lot of hot glue. I am going to use regular white school glue for what I'm using. I also have some of these faux moss rocks. I got this one package out. I may use more. I have these cauldrons that were left over from St. Patrick's Day. I like these better than I did the witch's cauldrons. I don't know why. I just do. So I'm going to be using one of those. I have a string of orange lights. These are actually left over from last year. So I'm going to be using those. Of course, I have the AA batteries to go with them. And then I have a package. These were left over from last year. Our store didn't have these. And I'll show you why. We have the orange marker. Those go together. I also have some lace. I got this at a thrift store probably a couple years ago. I need to learn to stop and take a breath. And I took a good size length off from this. And this is what I did with it. This is just a little bit of black paint and some water, and I made like a wash with it. And I put that lace in there, soaked it up. Now I'm going to take this in the bathroom, and I'm just going to with running water, I'm going to drain this out, and I'm going to take this lace out. I'm going to lay it on a piece of plastic sheeting and let this drain off, let all the water drain off. I'm going to wring it out and let the water drain off. Yes, my hands are going to get dirty, but it's only acrylic paint. It will wash off with a little bit of Dawn and a little scrubbing. It'll come right off. If not, it's no big deal. I have to do dishes later and they'll come out. This is going to turn this lace into something really neat when we get going, and you'll see what I'm doing with it. So for now, I'm going to go take care of this lace, and I'll be back with you in a second. I am using a popsicle stick to make a slit in that styrofoam to put the little headstones that I made down inside. I am going to leave the edges white, probably kind of make it look like it's shining in the light. I do have several of them to put in. And I will be putting them in, and then I also go back and I do add a little hot glue to these so that they don't just come out or fall out, to help make them stay put. There are several of them, plus I have the obelisk that I made is also going to be put in here, and you'll see that here in just a few minutes. I made the obelisk out of 3 pieces that were just odd shaped. I cut them to the same length. The sides aren't all exactly perfect. And then I painted it with kind of a silvery blue. And then I took one of these diamond-shaped gems, and I'm gluing it to the top. And then I turn around, I wait for that to dry. And it doesn't take long for that to dry. I love using hot glue for stuff like this. And then I'm going to load the bottom of this up with a bunch of hot glue. And then I also put a lot of hot glue when I set it down on the, oops, I bumped it, sorry, on the styrofoam itself, and I build up around it. You'll see later where I actually take and put some of the moss around it so that you don't see all that glue that I've put there. And it looks really cool when it's all finished. And I will come back in just a little bit. I absolutely love these faux moss covered stones. They reminded me of little shrubs, and when I started this, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. And you see here, I put glue on the wall of the house, glue on the ground around it, and I just plop these there and stick them on. They look like little shrubs. They turned out so cool, so stinking cute, and it is just so cool. This reindeer moss, I tell you guys, it's like living moss. It's probably still actually is alive. And I'm sorry I'm out of frame here, but I start by just gluing it onto the roof, little pieces here and there. I don't use the white glue. The white glue didn't hold it, and it didn't hold it to the styrofoam either. So I ended up using the hot glue throughout. But I glue it to the top of the house. I glue it everywhere. You'll see in a little bit where I utilized this moss to make the house look moss covered, vine covered. It just turned out really incredibly nice. I will probably leave this up all year long. I'm just saying, you know, I love Halloween. It's just me. I like the way this turned out. Okay, so here's what I've done with the reindeer moss. You can see that it's on the roof, it's going up the tower, it's on the side of the house. I love the way it turned out. And now I'm going to start putting it on the ground so that it looks like there's like grass and things like that. And I did try with the white glue. It wasn't happening. So I'm sticking with the using the glue gun. It does kind of stick to your fingers, make a mess, but it does work so much better. And stick with what works, right? Stick with what works. And in the end, this just turned out so nice. I love it. I just love it. I can't wait. Just saying, guys. And I have to apologize. I lost the little section where I glued down the little flat pieces of the white stones. But there they are. They're glued down. That's my path. I've got all kinds of the reindeer moss glued down to the thing. Now I've got the lace. I don't know what they use for the pigment in that black paint. But I have to tell you, it smells, and maybe it's just my brain because it's black and I love black licorice. It smells like black licorice. So I'm taking these really long skewers that you get at the Dollar Tree. They are a better buy than buying the little short sticks for crafting because you can cut these to size. If you're going to cut stuff down to size, this is a better buy. So I know how long I need them, so I'm just going through, cutting them down, measuring from the one I started with, always. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like stair steps. Always measure from your original one. Get rid of the one you cut off. Measure with the one you started with, always. That way you're not gaining in length. And I just keep going. And I don't remember how many I cut. I didn't use them all. I did start to glue them in, and I was like, wait a minute. I want these to be black. I didn't want them to be white or natural color. I want this to look like a wrought iron fence. So after I stuck the first two in and put hot glue in, I stopped recording and pulled them back out, and I had to go back and go and paint them and let them dry and come back and finish doing what I started. So yeah, you see me here gluing these two in. I goofed. I admit I goofed, but I corrected it. I painted them, and I'm back. And then I go back and I start putting them in and gluing them in place. And I tell you guys, I am loving this. And I want to thank my friend Karen, White Witch 110. I would have never thought of painting lace with paint. Never in a million years would I have thought of doing that. So Karen, thank you for doing that with your crafts, because I had never done that myself. She does that, and I was like, I'm going to go find me some lace. I have a ton of it. I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to have my black lace without having to go buy it. And I'm so glad I did, because it looks amazing. Watch this transformation. This is supposed to be like a wrought iron fence, guys. Just saying. I'm gluing the lace to these little black posts. Are you ready? I love it. I love how this turned out. I love everything about this. I actually get chills when I look at this, because it looks like a creepy house you would find on a street that no kids ever go to trick-or-treat. This looks like I would do this for my house so that nobody ever comes and knocks on my door. Just saying. Just saying. But this is so stinking cute. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And tell me, have you ever painted lace or things like that to craft with? I'm just curious. I mean, I know they make fabric paint now, but just to craft with, let me know what you think. in the comments below. And I just go through and, yeah, I glue the lace to the black post, just like it's a fence. And I go all the way around the cemetery and into the back. Okay, I'm showing you where I put the 2 posts here in the front. And I've cut some of these shorter. And why I did that is I've got a piece of lace that I've cut. I'm gluing down, and I had a hard time with this. I'm gluing the lace to one of the posts. And yeah, I had a hard time getting it to stick the first time. I had to redo it. So just bear with me here for just a moment. But I did glue it to the post, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Kind of like I did with the door, you know, use the cloth as a hinge. So you'll see kind of where I'm going with this. And I had it envisioned in my mind, but I really didn't need both posts, but I did kind of well, it was a process in my mind, let's just say. You'll see. But I do need to probably move one of the posts, but if I do, then it won't actually stay shut, so I'm not moving it. Just saying, it's going to stay like it is, or it'll be flopping in the breeze. But I go ahead and I get it glued down on the one end in the area where it should be, so that it matches. See how it matches across the fence? And then I take these other 2 and I put them so they go across, like a top and a bottom across, to hold the little lace steady across there. And you'll understand where I'm going. If you haven't already figured out what I'm doing, you'll get it here in a minute. So this is going to be like the top bar of the fence, you know, like the gate. And then I'm going to make sure that's in place. And I'm going to glue the next piece down. And that will be the bottom bar that goes across of the gate. And then I'm going to take this. And like I did with the door, the cloth is actually going to be the hinge. And I'm going to glue that to the other side, that post on the other side, which is going to be the, see how that swings? Which is going to be the part that makes the hinge, if that makes any sense. So, it took a long time today to get to this point, mainly because I had to stop a few times to take care of other things and stuff like that, and lunch and all that. But for where I'm at today, this is it, and I hope you enjoy what I've got done. And I'm getting everything so that it's kind of where it needs to be. You can see that it opens and closes. And the rest of the video will be up in the next day or 2. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be right back. Okay, for this video, I'm going to call it quits, mainly because it's been really long just to do what I've done. And I wanted to show you the graveyard. This is kind of like a silvery blue. It's got the clear gem at the top. And looking from this direction, then we have this moss. It looks kind of like a little hedge. And then we have the, I can't remember what it's called. It's kind of like a Spanish moss. We have the lace that I've dyed black. the fence. I may take this pole out or one of the other and move it just slightly. I have strings, glue strings everywhere. And then we have the front of the witch's house. For some reason, YouTube don't like me calling it a witch's house. Or maybe it's building a house, something. Anyways, guys, so there's where I'm going to stop right now. It's looking more spooky. There you go. So, I'll bring you back for another video in the next day or two.